This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. It is Thursday, April the 1st in the year 2010. I'd like to wish everyone listening a very happy Easter. We're taking tomorrow off, Friday, Good Friday, April the 2nd. I'll be back live here in the X-Zone on Monday, April the 5th. So to one and all, have a safe, happy, glorious Easter weekend. My guest this hour is Ishmael Jones. He was born in the United States and raised in the Middle East, East Asia, East Africa. He attended universities in the U.S. and served as an officer in the U.S. Marine Corps. In the late 1980s, he joined the Central Intelligence Agency, where he served as a deep cover officer focusing on human sources with access to intelligence on weapons of mass destruction and terrorism. His assignments included more than 15 years of continuous overseas service in numerous exotic countries and several rogue nations. He resigned from the Central Intelligence Agency in good standing, and he is now the author of The Human Factor Inside the CIA's Dysfunctional Intelligence Culture. And joining me here in the X-Zone for this hour is Ishmael Jones. Ishmael, welcome to the X-Zone.
Hey, thanks very much for having me on the show. I sure appreciate it.
Well, it's my great pleasure, and thank you for the work that you've done protecting us and, maintaining the balance that is so delicate. And I really believe, Ishmael, that the people have no concept of the delicate balance that is really out there.
I agree. In fact, I was talking to some people today, and it struck me that they didn't realize just how, I had a difference of opinion with them in that I think that the chances of a nuclear attack are really quite high, and that it's just a matter of time. And the people I spoke with considered it unlikely, and they don't have the knowledge and the amount of time I've spent in this area. But I was sort of struck by our difference in opinion.
Tell me, what type of work did you do as a CIA case officer?
I was I was a basic intelligence officer in human source intelligence, and what I did was I worked in foreign countries, and I found people with secrets on threats to terrorist threats and nuclear proliferation threats primarily, and I met them and got to know them and recruited them to give us secrets.
Now, what is human source intelligence, and why is that so important these days?
Everyone seems to agree, everyone in the intelligence community seems to agree that human source intelligence is the most vital, that we can do what we can with satellites and listening devices, but we really need the human connection. We really need individuals to tell us where and when the terrorist attack is going to happen, where and when the nuclear attack is planned. We just need that human connection. We need that person-to-person connection, and that's what my work was. And it involves it's a very one-on-one work. It involves a lot of hotel room meetings in strange countries far from home.
I would imagine that the human resource intelligence or human source intelligence is very important, especially if the weaponry that is being developed or the aspect of the investigation is being held in an area that cannot be observed by satellite.
That's right. We just really need to get in there. We just have to have human beings. We'll never be able to do without it. There was a period. There have been periods when the Americans have invested more money in our technical intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good stuff. You know, to the extent I worked with it, I was always very impressed. But we have to have that human connection. We have to have the little guy that works in the nuclear lab. We have to have the
Ishmael.
person on.
Ishmael, please stand by. You and I have to take a 2-minute break. Ishmael Jones is our special guest. He's the author of The Human Factor, Inside the CIA's Dysfunctional Intelligence Center. His website is www.ishmaeljones.com. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute break. Don't go away.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
Ishmael Jones is my special guest. He's the author of The Human Factor, Inside the CIA's Dysfunctional Intelligence Culture. His website is www.ishmaeljones.com. That's ISHMAELJONES.com. Ishmael, why did you decide to write your book, The Human Factor?
The book is just a tool for me to use in intelligence reform. There's a certain amount of respect for authors, and it contains in the appendix, it contains my proposed solutions for intelligence in the United States. It's just as a tool. That's its purpose.
What's wrong with the intelligence system as it stands now?
I think what we're doing is, just as we understand that human connection is important, the actual act of getting out in these foreign countries and meeting these human sources is a very difficult task in that it involves being far away from friends and family, and it's usually conducted in dingy hotel rooms in exotic countries. What happens is that there isn't really for a government employee, and this is all government-structured organizations, there's the path to promotion and power occurs in Washington, D.C. So as a result, there's a real sort of institutional avoidance of the basic work that needs to be done. And we've got all our people. We have over 90% of CIA employees live and work entirely within the United States, not out there. Just to give you an example, if someone had gone out to hunt bin Laden before the 9/11 terrorist attacks, they would have had to live alone, far from their families, for years to do this. And when they would have returned, no one at headquarters would have known them. They would have been unpromotable, essentially.
That doesn't seem very fair.
No, but the CIA is full of brave and intelligent people, but we just need to fix that system so that people who go out and actually gather the intelligence are rewarded, so that they don't have to essentially spend their lives schmoozing and building interpersonal connections with other people at headquarters. Instead, they're out in the foreign lands building connections with human sources of intelligence.
I've heard that the CIA are the unsung heroes of national security. How true is that?
There are some real heroes out there. It's just there's some real people who are, they're dedicated and they're out there in these lands, and they're far from home and family. But there are just very, very few of them, and the great bulk of the money and the people are within the United States, which is when I say that as an element of reform, all I'm saying there is let's just obey the rules that are in the laws that are already in place. The CIA was never supposed to be a domestic American intelligence organization.
Tell me if you can, and I certainly don't want to put you into any compromising situations with this question. How come bin Laden hasn't been brought to justice yet?
I don't get it. I mean, maybe he's dead, but we just need to. What we should do is we should be rough with our senior managers, and essentially, I mean, this is fire them until we find someone who stands up and says, "I'm going to go find the guy."
Mm-hmm. What would efficient CIA performance be? Why would efficient CIA performance be important to the people who are not Americans?
Well, I know you have you broadcast all over the world, and many of your listeners are not Americans, and I just think it's important that we recognize that the nuclear destruction of a city like Tel Aviv or New York City or London is going to ruin all of our days. And so we're all responsible. We all have this shared vulnerability, and the United States has essentially unlimited billions of dollars in its intelligence budget, and if we use it properly, we can if we have an efficient CIA, we can protect so many people from nuclear disaster.
And you really believe that one of these days a nuke is going to go off?
Yes, I've been involved in this business for so long. It just seems to me so terribly obvious. Again, this is just as an opinion, and I was talking to some dear friends, and they didn't have this sense of urgency. But what we're talking about with the nukes is it's 1930s technology. It's not hard to assemble. Some countries are very proud of it. I have friends from India and Pakistan, and when they developed their nuclear weapons, they were proud of it. And it's just not so. It's not hard to do. A country like Canada could assemble these things in no time at all. It's just that because of the sort of the international outlook of its people, there is no interest in doing so. It's not an achievement.
No.
So and there are people that really have a lot of hatred out there, and as soon as they form one of these bombs, the terrorists are going to use it. They don't use it to negotiate. They're just going to use it.
It's no wonder that the world is on such a very delicate breaking point. We've done shows in the past, Ishmael, where there have been so many broken arrows or missing nuclear weapons that it surprises me that these terrorist groups haven't been able to get their hands on one and just, boom, away you go. I'm proving my point. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's absolutely. I think it's just a matter of time. We just need to work very, very hard to make sure that it doesn't happen, and we won't do that with a bunch of with our CIA people all located within the United States in offices. We just really need to get out there in the field and on the streets.
All right, if you were to be made the head honcho of the CIA by presidential declaration, how would you improve the CIA?
I'd physically get people overseas and out of our offices, and I'd cut the layers of management. We've got, we had, you remember the underwear bomber there in over Christmas time. We actually had the information. It walked into our embassy. The father of the underwear bomber brought the information into an American embassy, but there were simply too many layers that the information had to go through. And so it couldn't get to where it needed to go within roughly like 6 weeks, I think, that the information had before Christmas Day. So I would cut the layers, and I'd get our people overseas, and I'd make sure anybody who brings in intelligence is rewarded. And I think there are some real serious systemic problems in the CIA. So I would like to see the U.S. military take more. Be given more control, and the FBI be given more control within the United States.
So you're basically saying there should be a program like Crime Stoppers Incorporated for intelligence information.
Yeah, we just well, I mean, to look at any new creative ideas, absolutely.
Tell me, could the events of September the 11th, 2001, been avoided?
Yes, they're. I haven't really I haven't really studied that as closely as I should. I believe it could have been. There was a lot of information out there. We just didn't have our people into these organizations. It's not that hard to do. You remember the case of the young fellow from Marin County who one day chose to become essentially become a terrorist, and he was accepted, and within a remarkably quick period of time, he was in the Taliban in Afghanistan. So we can get out there and we can do these things. We just didn't have the people on the ground, you know. And after the fact, we can connect all these dots and say, you know, somebody knew something here and they weren't exchanging information. I think the whole information exchange thing is kind of is false. We just didn't have the raw information to begin with.
What do you think about the recent defection of an Iranian nuclear scientist?
Well, I think that's good news. My only concern is I'm a skeptic. I was trained and paid to be skeptical. The main thing that you want to do as an espionage officer is you want to keep your spies in place. Mm-hmm. So if we have this guy, we got an Iranian nuclear scientist, you don't want him to defect. You want to keep him there. And once he defects, all he can give you is historical information. He's lost his access. So, I mean, this is what we teach our spies in our basic training is don't let them defect unless their life is in danger and we need to get them out. I'm not sure that was the case here, and I'm concerned that they had him defect so that they could issue favorable press releases on it.
So they're using national security and the work that the CIA is doing for public relations?
Well, I just question it. You know, I just bring up that question, and it could very well be that we have some heroes who brought this guy out, and there is a great deal of information he can provide us. But I do ask, why did they have to bring him out? Why not leave him in place where he can tell us now what happened yesterday. He can't tell us anymore what's going to happen tomorrow. And unless his life was in danger, he should have been left there. And so I question what they were up to, what was going on. And I also wonder, I haven't studied this closely yet, but how good was he? You know, we've got such our focus is so domestic with the CIA. There are so many people within the United States that we tend sometimes to draw people out of the foreign countries and into the United States just because we simply have so many people here not doing anything. And this guy gives everybody gets to go meet this guy. He becomes a sort of a freak show exhibit there at CIA headquarters.
Ishmael, please stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation, Ishmael Jones is our special guest. He's the author of The Human Factor Inside the CIA's Dysfunctional Intelligence Culture. His website is www.ishmaeljones.com. ISHMAELJONES.com. Once again, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be the best of, and it's going to be at the discretion of the local affiliate program director. Talk about passing the buck, eh? In this case, the Easter egg. I'll be back Monday live. So until, like I said, we're not going to be here, but to each and every one of you, a very happy Easter. Ishmael and I return on the other side of the news as we continue right here in the X Zone. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network and the X Zone Broadcast Network, and our affiliates across Canada, the United States, Central America, South America, the Caribbean, the Pacific Rim, Australia, Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. If you'd like to give us a call, toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. That is toll-free worldwide at 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. You can always chat with someone here in our studios by using the MSN address xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com and our website www.xzoneradiotv.com. If you'd like to get a copy of the March 2010 edition of the X Chronicles newspaper, all you need to do is send me an email saying, "Hey Rob, can I get a copy of the paper?" I will send you a link where you can read the paper as well as the 31 other editions of the X Chronicles on Scribd. And all you have to do is once again send an email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. I received an email from Stephen Bassett who said that he thought I was pretty harsh on the UFO community with my editorial. Steve, too bad. I really think that members of the UFO community need a real reality check, and I'd love to bring you on to have you debate me on it. So there you go. Steve, you wanted a debate? You're going to get one. My special guest this hour is Ishmael Jones. He was born in the United States, raised in the Middle East, East Asia, and East Africa. He attended universities in the U.S. and served as an officer in the U.S. Marine Corps. In the late 1980s, he joined the Central Intelligence Agency, where he served as a deep cover officer focusing on human sources with access to intelligence on weapons of mass destruction and terrorism. His assignments included more than 15 years of continuous overseas service in numerous exotic countries and several rogue nations. He resigned from the CIA in good standing. He's written a book, Exonation, The Human Factor Inside the CIA's Dysfunctional Intelligence Center. And to find out more about our very special guest this hour, Ishmael Jones, visit his website, www.ishmaeljones.com. That's ISHMAELJONES.com. Ishmael, what should be done about the Iranian nuclear threat?
I'm a very narrow-focused person. With me, it's all about intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think we need to do is get our people out there, get them on the streets, meet Iranians, and learn as much as we can from them to do the basic case officer work. Now, Iranians are I've spent a lot of time doing this myself. They're wonderful people from an ancient, sophisticated culture, and they're and especially as far as their scientists go, they're all English speaking. I mean, I speak several languages. It's important as a case officer to do that, but I don't speak Farsi. But there are so many who are still accessible with English. I find them easy to meet. They often have had their education in North America, and many of our targets have even had children born in North America. So it's not hard to do. We need to get out there and do it, and just to get out there and just do that basic, simple, hard work of intelligence, and then we can get the information and we can bring it to President Obama and he can make decisions upon it.
How many operatives or field officers or CIA agents do you believe should be out there?
I think almost as many as we can field. Now our numbers are very tiny right now. The area I was in I call it deep cover. In fact, the CIA doesn't actually use that term, but I didn't want to reveal the actual term that we used.
Mm-hmm.
But it meant working outside of embassies, not under cover as a diplomat. And there are just very, very few of those. It's classified how many, but it's a very tiny amount. And one of my one of my achievements as a case officer was essentially just longevity, was survival, so that I was able to work overseas for 15 some years and uninterrupted, assignment to assignment. That shouldn't be such a big deal, but it's very, very rare. So we need to get more than the handful that we have active out there right now.
How hard is it on the families of an operative like yourself?
It was for me. I thought it was. This may seem somewhat contradictory. I thought it was great for the family because as a deep cover officer, I didn't come into an office every day, and I wasn't exposed to the sort of the office politics that most CIA officers are. So the family life was just great. I controlled my time, and when I was away on a mission, I was working on a mission, and it wasn't as if I were trapped somewhere because my boss wanted to hold endless meetings, for example. So and I noticed this as well, that that my colleagues who are under deep cover seem to have much smoother, stronger family lives than my colleagues who served in headquarters buildings and in embassies.
Did your family know that you were a member of the CIA?
Just my wife. Did, and I like to joke that the knowledge was kept so secret that only my wife and my parents and 10,000 CIA employees ever knew.
Did you join the CIA, or were you approached to become a member of the CIA?
No, I actually joined, which is unusual. Most people, I think, are approached. I just typed up a letter and mailed it to a CIA office and attached a resume to it. I'd been in the Marine Corps and I'd enjoyed the adventure of the patriotic service, and I was working on Wall Street at the time, and I was just a little bored, and so I sent off the letter, and they responded.
How did you feel when you were finally accepted?
Oh, it was it's a pretty long process. The biggest challenge is the polygraph, and that's what wipes out a lot of the people. I've actually been reading some psychology and some books on the issue lately, because I'm a little concerned that the intensity of the use of the polygraph may be selecting other attributes as well. It may be selecting I'm drawing, it's kind of a distant connection, but I mean, if we're really fine tuning the thing and making sure we don't get anyone who tells any kind of a lie, are we also getting another type of person who may not be that suitable for espionage work?
Well, in espionage, don't you have to lie to maintain your cover?
It is. It's important, but the rule for lying is to tell the truth as much as you can. That because people really have almost an extra sense for the truth, especially if they're coming from rogue nations. They so what I'd lie about is my name and elements of my background and maybe my business, but to actually keep the lies to an extreme minimum, because these people, if you've grown up in Iran or North Korea, you know how to spot a liar for your survival.
I guess so. Here's a question for you, and I don't know if you'd like to answer it. If you don't, I will understand and respect your answer. Here's the question. Should CIA interrogators of terrorists suspected or suspects be prosecuted?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Thank you. I think that's an issue that's really been in the news really for some years now, and I think it's of interest to many international listeners. But they may not like my answer. And my answer is that no, I don't think they should be prosecuted, and the reason is that it's that anyone who's in the bullseye of prosecution is some little guy, a low-level guy, who was away from his family, trying to do his best, and there doesn't appear to be any sort of link to anyone who established policy. No one of any up the ladder appears to be in any danger of prosecution.
So the little guy is actually a bulletproof vest for the bigger guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how it is in many forms of human interaction. Many organizations. But these guys, I knew some of them. I wasn't involved in interrogations myself, but I had some friends who did it, and they go for 2 years to some undisclosed location, and they're told they're going to be promoted and treated well, and then they come back and nobody wants to talk to them, and they're basically shunned and ignored, and they're just out there doing their best. The ones I talked to said they never actually tortured anyone. They'd often get these young fellas. They get them in there, and the guys would start talking, and they would use this information often to transmit it to police forces all over the world to stop terrorist attacks from happening. So these guys actually saved a lot of lives doing this work. But once it became a political issue, and you want to prosecute people, okay, I'm not saying let's protect someone who's been cruel, but whoever, we can't just do the little guy who went off to do his job, is what I'm saying.
How close did you work with other intelligence agencies, for example, MI5 in Great Britain and then the Russian Secret Service?
Not too much in my case because of the cover I was under. So
okay.
There were some periods in Iraq where I was working as an official, and so I worked with some other agencies then. But for example, I have a friend he's actually a Canadian. His name is Michael Ross. He's a former Israeli Mossad spy. He did a lot of liaison work with the American CIA. He knows a lot about that stuff. Mine was very limited, though, just because of the nature of my cover.
Speaking about Canadians, what do you think about our CSIS?
You mean the quality of their work and so on?
Yeah, because prior to CSIS being formed, the intelligence was left to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And now with our very own spies, CSIS, they've only been in the game, maybe 20 years now? Mm-hmm. How do outside intelligence agencies that have been around for mega years, like the CIA, look at our guys?
Oh, I think they look at them with respect,
Excellent.
and I think they do a good job. And I would be concerned, I guess, about the creation of the way it was created, because it essentially, we have to be worried about them using the CIA model, basically. So if you've got the thing with having the intelligence under a law enforcement organization is that the law enforcement organizations really have much more of a connection to the work they do. There's much more of a sense of responsibility and a chain of command that connects it to reward and achievement.
What would you like readers to walk away with after they've read your book?
I think that they, the book is designed to be really readable. It's just the story. It's a story of a spy, and so I'd like them to walk away with the sense that they've read another guy's story, and maybe it can help them make decisions in their own lives. Maybe, I like to do this. I like to read other people's autobiographies and just see how they approached their lives and how they made their decisions.
For a listener who may be just leaving university, leaving the military, would you suggest a career in the CIA?
I actually get a lot of, I say even almost most of the emails I get on my website are from people asking my opinion on whether they should join the CIA. And I always say, give it a shot. I enjoyed it. It was a great adventure. I would have stayed, except that I just ultimately was really stymied, and the day came for me to pull out of my foreign assignment. So I say, give it a shot. Go in there with your eyes open. Try not to turn into a bureaucrat. Try not to do it for the money. Unfortunately, it's become a place to make a lot of money, which it never used to be. But go in there, be a patriot, eyes wide open, and they can have some real achievement.
All right, you and I have to take our final break. Ishmael, please stand by. Exonation, our special guest this hour, is the author of The Human Factor, Inside the CIA's Dysfunctional Intelligence Culture. Ishmael Jones is his name. His website is www.ishmaeljones.com. Once again, www.ishmaeljones.com. When I come back from this commercial break with the news, we'll do a recap of tonight's show. And don't forget, Exonation, we will not be live tomorrow night. It'll be the best of. And we'll be back Monday, Easter Monday. And once again, from everyone here, from myself, Laura, and our production staff and our affiliates around the world, happy Easter and have a safe one. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
18 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
You're listening to the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
And welcome back, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity of thanking all our guests tonight. Doug Crow was with me in hour number 1. Hour number 2, a repeat of Daryl Sims, the alien hunter himself, talking about alien abductions. And then, of course, I think he went off the deep end when he started talking about a UFO that's circling the planet Earth that's 50 miles thick and 600 miles long, but what do I know? I'm here on this planet with my feet on the ground. Hour number 3, Dr. William Schneid and I discussed the terrorist attacks in Russia. We also discussed the Christian militia. And my guest this hour, Ishmael Jones, he's the author of The Human Factor: Inside the CIA's Dysfunctional Intelligence Culture. His website is www.ishmaeljones.com. That's ISHMAELJONES.com. First of all, Ishmael, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you and the other members of the CIA for the very important work that you do. And in my books, you guys are unsung heroes. And congratulations on a great book.
Thanks very much. Thanks again for having me on.
Now, the CIA, in the eyes of the uneducated or the unaware, it's cloak and dagger, it's negative, and, like at times it receives a lot of bad press. But there's always a good side. And as a former member of the CIA, can you tell the audience the upbeat, the good side of the CIA?
Well, it's just full. It's nearly unanimously full of good people who want to do the best and who are patriotic and highly skilled and intelligent. So when I make criticisms of the CIA, I'm talking about the systemic nature of it. These people want to be out in the field. They want to be out serving their country. They don't want to be playing games at headquarters. And the people who are overseas do an excellent job, and I especially enjoyed during my career the tactical success, just even success on a street level where you're finding out where an explosive device is, and alerting the bomb squads and protecting people that might be walking by. Things like that are just going on constantly.
And quickly, where can people buy your book?
It should be in most bookstores. They can do the usual Amazon, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The thank you. That question reminded me. I just wanted to say that I don't profit from the book. The profits all go to veterans charity groups.
What a guy.
I always try to remember to say that.
What a guy. Ishmael, thank you very much for coming on. I hope that we have the pleasure of having you back on in the near future. And once again, thank you and the other members of the CIA and intelligence agencies and law enforcement for the great work that you guys do.
Hey, thanks very much. I sure appreciate it.
Take care, sir. Well, that's it for tonight, everyone. Wow. Another week has gone by. Don't forget, tomorrow is Good Friday. I'm not going to be here. I will be back next Monday. To you and yours, a very happy, safe Easter weekend. And thank you for allowing us to be part of your day or night, no matter where you are in this great big world of ours. I'll be back again Monday as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. So until then, always keep your eyes to the sky, your heart to the light, and be safe. Good night now.